Today I found myself watching a movie that has lived in my heart since childhood, The Wiz. I have watched it more times than I could ever count. As a little girl, certain scenes fascinated me, but one scene in particular always captured my attention. Michael Jackson as the Scarecrow. There he stood, tied to that pole, motionless, powerless. Around him circled the crows. They mocked him, they taunted him, they filled his mind with lies. They told him he was nothing and convinced him he belonged there. As a child, I thought it was just entertaining. But today, as a survivor of sexual violence who has fought for justice, I saw something entirely different. God opened my eyes to something hidden. The Scarecrow was not stuck because he could not move. He was stuck because he believed he could not move. He had accepted the lie that he was powerless. And suddenly it hit me. That is exactly what trauma does to survivors. Trauma puts us on a pole. It immobilizes our spirit. It traps our thoughts. It cages our identity. And then the crows arrive. The crows of shame, fear, and self-blame whisper lies into our minds. They say, "You are broken. No one will believe you. You are stuck here." If we hear those voices long enough, we begin to believe them. When trauma enters our lives, it convinces us we are powerless. But the truth is, many of us are not stuck. We are simply convinced that we are. Dorothy spoke life into him. She said, "You can come down." When the Scarecrow finally realized the only thing holding him there was the lie he had believed, he asked the question that changed everything. "Do you mean the only thing keeping me up here was me?" That moment shook me, because that is the moment of awakening for many survivors. It is not that we lack intelligence or strength. Sometimes it is simply that no one ever told us we had the power to move. The Scarecrow thought he had no brain, but what he really lacked was knowledge of his own power. The Bible tells us in Hosea 4:6, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." Not lack of value, but knowledge. Even in dark seasons, God had already planted faith inside of me. 2 Timothy 1:7 says, "God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind." We begin to rediscover our identity. We begin to reclaim our voice and realize the crows never owned our future. Psalm 34:18 reminds us that the Lord is close to the brokenhearted. The Scarecrow had been trying to teach me something my whole life. The most dangerous prison is the belief that we are powerless. But once we discover the truth, once we begin to silence the crows, we step down. We walk into the life God always intended for us. The only thing holding me there was the lie I believed. Today I say to every survivor, you are not stuck. You are not powerless. You were meant to rise. You can come down.